the practice for me really is like, when you get an intuition, hold it and explore it rather than dismiss it. So there's an intuition. It doesn't mean our intuition's always right, but we have to consider it. And then if we dismiss it, that's the danger. The more we learn to almost hold our intuition, explore it, consult, and then, and I say, once, if it's been reinforced 3 times, you can pretty much guarantee there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about, but the problem is when we're in situations where we feel that, we go to another person, that person convinces us to dismiss that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we lose our inner core, like our almost inner balance of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really practice, I think that's a really important practice, is that what happens to you when you're in relationships to others with those intuitions? Are you called to completely dismiss them? Or are you called to actually entertain them and refine them in relationship to the other? If you find yourself in relationships where you're constantly being told to dismiss the intuition, then what you'll find is you'll lose your own sense of self, and you'll lose your ability to distinguish between what's right and wrong. And so it's really important to be in relationships where people have considered, in therapy, that's what we're doing. We're letting them hold and explore, rather than, it's considered unethical for me to say, well, that's just ridiculous. I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell you what's what.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they lose that sense. We're trying to inculcate and refine that ability for them to be able to distinguish, so they can go and be human beings who can navigate and orient themselves in the world.
Totally. That's agency, right? And that's the agency that we've always been talking about.
We're trying to make people adults.
Exactly. Yeah. And the king of the body is this heart, this kingly apparatus that can take in the prime minister's advice and the input from the kingdom and the different ministers that he has or she has. And then now, what will the king do in this circumstance with this? And then there's a type of fullness, a maturity, and a sense of self-agency that is so beautiful. And you're right, exactly. When you don't have that and everyone's always permeable to everyone else's opinions and thoughts and expectations, you hand over, you have to export agency and will to that same people that you've been influenced by. What should I do then? Tell me what to do. And you haven't been able to really connect with that part of you that has that innate capacity to feel and to understand, and has wisdom and has knowledge, deep knowledge.
Because a child, if you look at it, the child deeply knows whether you're concerned about him or not. He senses that, and he attunes to that. How do we lose that? Because we definitely lose it. Because I've been trying to fight back for it for years, and what a gift it is when you regain it, where you basically can cut through the rubbish and see things for what they are. But it's obviously a higher, it's not like we're going back and regressing. We're regaining that gift, but we're taking it to a higher level so we can navigate ourselves.
Totally. Yeah. You have to go back a little bit to recover what was lost of yours, what was lost of that heart, of that spark, of that the vitality, the ruh, you essentially. And then you can bring it right back to the adult that you are now. People in their 30s, I don't want to go back to when I was. So we're not going to go back. We don't have to go back. What happened already. We can't go back and fix it.
Yeah.
People and okay. Yeah, but we have to go back and identify how in the wake of this trauma, you forwent your heart. You forwent the capacity to feel, to be you, to have this capacity to choose for yourself in a healthy, mature way. In your adulthood now, when you capture that and bring it back here, you're not going to be stuck there if you go back there. You bring it back, and then it's like in Iron John. Have you ever read the book Iron John? The Golden Ball. It's a Grimm's Brothers tale. I actually really invite people to read that book. It's a really awesome book, especially young men. It's a coming
of age.
It's coming of age tale, and really it's a story. It's all of our stories, really. The Iron Man is a wild man who civilization finds in the jungle, unkempt, hairy, almost like this I have this image in my mind of like the Jassas, you know, and the story of the Dajjal, kind of just really unkempt looking thing, almost like a Bigfoot. In the book, it's kind of described like a Bigfoot, but it's a symbol, and the symbol is that which is that innate intuition, that haywani intuition, which is not a negative thing, you know. It's not it's just a raw primal energy, the fitra. You know, isn't haywan, from what I understand, and I'm glad you're here to correct me on this. An is a container, right? Anything that ends in an, like insan or rahman, is like, I've heard this. Yeah. Allahu Alam, I don't know.
I know it's used as a hyperbolic. So in the Quran, you know, it's talking about the next life, hiya al-hayawan.
Hiya al-hayawan, yeah.
Yeah, which means like real life. So when we say Quran, we've got another word, like Quran is a mustard, it's a verbal noun. And we've got another verbal noun, which is qira'ah. But why is Quran? Quran's an emphatic. It's like, you know, and so we could draw that. I think that's more of a nuance when you say container. I think because we say when it's hyperbolic, it's like almost larger than
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
so haywan is whatever that big life force.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely big.
It's big and it's vital. It's haywan. You know, it's this living, big living thing. That's the haywan. You know, and like we are haywan in some way. Haywan natiq. Or haywan adami or bashari or something, but we're still haywan, and that's the energy, and that's what in the Iron John book. I'm not sure why I got onto this whole thing, but in that book, it's all about recapturing that. It's really beautiful. I really invite everyone.
They say the wise man is the one who regains his youth.